Hello, everyone. Hope you had a good day today. So in this video, we're going to be going over question 3 from the Bluebook Test 1, Math Module 1. And yeah, let's try it out. So Jay walks at a speed of 3 miles per hour and runs at a speed of 5 miles per hour. He walks for W hours and runs for R hours, for a combined total of 14 miles. Which equation represents this situation? Okay, so we can look at the answer choices, right? A is 3W plus 5R equals 14. B is 1/3 W plus 1/5 R equals 14. And then we have the same situations reversed: 1/3 W plus 1/5 R equals 112, and 3W plus 5R equals 112. So that just sort of gives us an idea of what type of answer we're going to be looking for. And now we want to try to find, it's like two distance rate equations combined, right? So we have, normally there's a distance equals a rate times a time, right? So there's two distances here. Let's call one dw for distance walking, and the rate there is going to be 3, and then the w is for the time walking, right? And then we have dr, which is distance running, and that would be the rate of the running, which is 5 miles per hour, and the rate of, or in the time of the running, which is r, right? And I think part of the confusion on this question is that W and R both represent time, and normally we have time be represented by X or T. So that might throw people off, and you might think W is the rate of walking or something. But if you break it down like this, you see how naturally it just becomes 3W plus 5R gets you the total distance, right, which is 14 miles. And we don't need to know what they equal, right? We're just trying to find this equation. And that gets us the lovely letter A, which makes me think of an apple. I'm a big fan of apples. Honey Crisps, if you haven't had them, I would recommend them. Let's look at what's going on with these other answers, right? Where does this 112 come from? It comes from 3 plus 5 being 8, and then 8 times 14 gets you 112. I think they think people will do that, and then they'll get this 112 situation. Like if you think it's 14 miles per hour or something in the end. And then this 1/3 is if you're dividing, if you're reversing and you're thinking 3 hours for 1 mile, 5 hours for 1 mile. Okay, but if we do it like this, you see 3W plus 5R gets you 14. And we're on a good start. So we can try the next question. Now, these are going to be follow-up questions invented by yours truly. They're going to test the same concept and be an extension of the first question. So if you got that first question, you can try these to reinforce the skill and see if you can extend that skill. Claire paints 3 walls an hour with a brush. She paints 5 walls an hour with a roller. She brushes for B hours and rolls for R hours. Claire paints 60 walls. Which equation represents this situation? Okay, great. So this is almost identical to the first question. A different scenario, different numbers, but same idea, right? So distance and rate is also, you could do, yeah, so distance and rate formula is also is the same formula you use for work. So distance equals rate times time, and then work equals the rate of the work times time. So this is a work problem, but that's the same as a distance problem. So let's say the work done with a roller, so WR is equal to 5, and then she rolls for R hours, right? 5R. And then the work done with a brush equals 3B, right? And now the total work is going to get you 60 walls. So we're going to get 3B plus 5R equals 60, right? It's identical to the first one, just different numbers, different letters. But if you got the first one, hopefully you can get this one here. And if you didn't get the first one, after doing the first one, hopefully you can get this one here. And now you have 3b plus 5r. Now look at A, right? Very tricky. 3r plus 5b, that'd be mixing up the letters. B, right? B as in beluga whale. I'm also a big fan of whales, but that's another topic. And then again, this is if you're reversing the rate and work, right? If we're saying it takes 3 hours to do one wall, takes 5 hours to do one wall. So we cross that off our list. And then we have this one again, it's reversed letters, right? The 3r when it should be 3b. And then it's again 3 plus 8, 5 equals 8 multiplying. So it doesn't work. And you're left with B. I'm loving it. Great. Now let's try the next one. Claire paints 2 walls an hour. Beverly paints 3 walls an hour. Claire paints C walls. Beverly paints B walls. Together, they paint 40 walls in a given amount of time, T. Which equation represents the situation? Okay, so this one's almost setting up like the first one, right? But there's 2 people, and Claire does C walls, and Beverly does B walls, but it doesn't actually matter how much each paints, because that's not what it's asking, right? It's asking for the time. So here, the work they do together, right, equals 40 walls. And that equals Claire's rate. So Claire's rate equals CR equals, you know what, I'm going to write that out just to be more clear, right? Clarity is so important, especially for when you're talking about someone like Claire. Claire rate, right, equals 2. Beverly's rate I guess you could have a LEY Beverly too, but this one's just a LY. Beverly rate equals 3. So combined rate is 2 plus 3, which is going to get us 5. So then up here, right, if we want to solve for this, you would have 5, which is the rate, their combined rate times T, which is the time, equals 40. Okay. Lovely. And then we'll do one last one. So this was an extension, right? It's a little different from the first 2. And now the next one will be a further extension, or a different type of extension. It takes Claire 4 hours to paint a room. It takes Beverly 3 hours to paint the same room. How many hours will it take them to paint 42 rooms of the same size? Okay, so 42 rooms of the same size. So the total work is going to be 42, which equals total rate times time, which is what we're looking for, right? Now let's find R. R equals Claire rate plus Beverly's rate. Right? And now we have to find each of their rates. So unlike the last one where the numbers just gave us the rate immediately because it was 2 walls an hour or 3 walls an hour, right? Or 5 walls an hour, Beverly rate. Here we have to convert a little bit. So Claire, we'll call it CR equals work, which is 1 room, or let's do it like this, right? So we'll keep with the 4 work rate times time equals work, which is 1 room. So then CR equals 1/4. So her rate is 1/4 of a room an hour, right? Now Beverly, so BR times 3 takes, because it takes 3 hours, equals 1 room. So BR equals 1/3. So together, so then you do R equals 1/4, which is Beverly's, right? I'm going to make that 4 look like a 4, not like a 9, plus 1/3, which is, oh wait, 1/4 is Claire's rate, sorry, and Beverly's rate is 1/3. So now we do common denominator. So this becomes a 12 by multiplying it by 3. So the top becomes a 3. This becomes a 4 by multiplying it by 4, because we want to multiply this 3 by 4. So we got 3/12 plus 4/12 gets us 7/12. And now we plug that in here. So we're going to get 42 equals 7/12 T. And then to get that, we're going to do, we are going to write it here, right? So reciprocal multiplication. So we're going to multiply and get 12/7 times 42 equals T, because you're multiplying by the reciprocal, right? So multiply by 12/7 here. So this cancels. So 42/7. Before we multiply, I like to cross cancel, right? And you could put this in the calculator, but if you can do it in your head, that is great. That'll save you time, and it'll save you making a silly error in typing the equation. And the way to do this in your head is not to do 12 times 42, which is, a little more complicated. You want to do 42 divided by 7, and you get 1 on the bottom, 6 on top, and now you do 12 times 6, and then you're going to get T equals 72. Okay, so it's going to take him 72 hours to paint 42 rooms together, which is a long time, right? 3 full days, but it makes sense because if it takes 4 hours to paint 1 room and 3 hours to paint a room, it's a long process. These are big rooms. Maybe they're doing really intricate designs on them. So I hope these helped with this practice question from the test, right? Practice test. Question 3. If you want to see more questions like this, or if you have questions on these specific ones or want to see a different topic covered, put it in the comments. And if you like this video, like and subscribe, and I'll see you all soon.